Okay, welcome to the Ravinak build. This is a scene from season 1, episode 1 of The Mandalorian. I started out by building the kind of the base plate. What I wanted this to look like was like a flat white sheet of ice that included some fissures. So I built it effectively like horizontally across the base plate, and then you'll see here shortly that I add in these blue translucent pieces to give the effect of cracks in the ice and giving you that image of where that Ravinak is kind of as it maneuvering under the ice and getting ready to emerge and attack the Razor Crest. Um, Next piece was building the Ravinak itself. Not my strong suit. I don't consider myself to be a great builder of animals and monsters and everything else, but I'm pretty pleased with where this ended up. I kind of built a prototype with some different colors and then rejigged it a little bit, which is what you see here. I'm pleasantly surprised with the way it turned out. You can see an image here coming up. I like the way the tusks, and the fangs are coming out. Okay, the third piece of the puzzle is the Razor Crest itself. This is definitely beyond my ability. So here what you see is the Razor Crest built by or designed by Rigid Brick. You can buy this on Rebrickable. This guy's an absolute legend. He builds everything in 3-stud scale. So you can buy this on Rebrickable. Again, I purchased it, bought the parts, and built this to use within my MOC. Okay, I wanted to give a status update here on where we are. So this is a normal base plate. We framed it and we built what I think is a pretty cool looking Ravinak. Now, there's a lot of work to be done with making it look like he's coming out of the ice and kind of really enveloping him a little bit more around this farther edge, etc. I am quite pleased with the way that this guy looks. I am not great at kind of designing my own stuff. Certainly animals I find very challenging, but I think this guy looks pretty cool. Now again, he's a little thin through the through the body, so we'll have to fill him out. And again, when I get the ice around him, I think that he will look a lot better. So I am super pleased with the way that things are looking so far. Okay, now here's my dilemma. So this thing's absolutely awesome. I love it. However, massive problem, it's too small for the for the Ravinak that I built. If you think about the scale of the Ravinak in at that opening scene of The Mandalorian, you can just tell this thing is way too big to take a bite out of this thing. I mean, for crying out loud, if the Mandalorian came out there, he'd be about as big as his eyeball. So I need to upscale this. Now, there's a couple of ways I could have solved this, or I could solve this. Number one is I build a larger Razor Crest. Number two, I build a smaller Ravinak. I tried and tried and tried to build a smaller Ravinak, but here's what I struggled with. I wanted the fangs of that Ravinak. I feel like that, like the tusks, I guess, is the better way to say it. And the way to get those tusks, when I tried to limit the head to only 1 stud wide, I just could not get it to work in a way that I thought looked good or normal, etc. So effectively, I needed to go from a 2-stud wide creature to a 1-stud wide creature, and I just struggled to make that happen in a way that I thought would still look good. So we are going to build at a larger scale. We're going to build on a 32 by 32 base plate. So again, kind of same principle as before. With the base around it, we're going to have the white with the rivers of ice, so to speak, and bring that all together for the build. We'll see how it goes. And again, to do this, we're going to use a new build that I bought on Rebrickable from Tommaso Builds. And this is the Millennium Falcon set 75375. This is the MIDI scale series that's out. So this is an alternate build, which should be rough and tough. I think the same scale and size as the one that is built here. I already have this set. I already have it built and on display. I bought another one solely for the purpose of building this because I thought that the build itself looked very cool. And I'm going to be displaying all of these MIDI scale ships in succession on my in my display. So we're going to go ahead and keep it. That's the game plan. We'll see how it goes. So here you can see the Ravinak bursting forth from the ice. This is in Season 1, Episode 1 of The Mandalorian. This is the creature that jumps out when he's escorting the Mithril to the Razor Crest. And this guy jumps out of the ice and tries to attack the Razor Crest. And of course, Mando, all calm, cool, and collected, jumps out and gives him a zap. So pretty pleased with the way the Ravinak turned out. It did create some challenges for me from a scale perspective, which I talked about earlier. But yeah, I think it looks pretty cool. So here is the Razor Crest. This is a MOC designed by Tommaso. I bought these instructions on Rebrickable. This is actually an alternative build of the MIDI scale Millennium Falcon, set 75375. I was struggling with the scale. I had originally shown the rigid brick, kind of what I call the 3-stud scale Razor Crest, which is also awesome. But when I looked around, I found this on Rebrickable and thought this is exactly the size that I needed. And so really pleased, first off, with the build, incredible. And it is literally just using the pieces from that 75375 set. There's no additional pieces. There are a few interesting build techniques that he gets into just because of, you know, the pieces being, you know, kind of limited. But man, pretty dang cool as far as I'm concerned. Did a great job here. Very well put together. It's pretty heavy, which did cause some challenges for me, as you'll see in a moment when I mount it. But yeah, really cool Razor Crest build by Tommaso. I'll include the link to the Rebrickable instructions on the site here. Okay, to give a little bit closer view here, this is the Ravinak. Again, kind of coming out of the ice here with the Razor Crest. And then I mounted the build. This is a 48 by 48 base plate, the big boys. I'm pretty pleased with how it came out. There were a couple pieces here that were a little bit challenging for me. One was I had my heart set on trying to do this type of build where you know, you kind of put the white plates together, and then I had these translucent blue that kind of I put in there to be like fissures in the ice or kind of cracks, because I wanted to represent how the ice was kind of changing as the Ravinak moved across it. But I be honest, I don't know if I really achieved that, because the ice cracks are kind of all over the place, but not really in line with what the Ravinak's path was. So I'm not quite sure if I hit the mark there. But the other thing is, there's two pieces that I'm not crazy about. Number one is the plate itself is pretty big. You know, you can see here, it's a pretty big plate. There's plenty of room, and yet for some reason, all the action is on one side. I didn't intend for it to quite look like this, and in hindsight, it was just like an oversight as I was building it. So I kind of wanted the Ravinak here, and then the Razor Crest perhaps to be a little bit more in front. That's problem number one. Problem number two is I also wanted it to be at an angle, you know, more like he's trying to get away. And I tried several times in various different methods to get this Razor Crest to kind of curve so that it looked a little bit more like it was actually, you know, genuinely trying to escape, which is far more what you see in the show when this particular scene is taking place. However, this is heavier than you think, and I didn't have enough support here. I tried a couple different methods and it just kind of kept falling apart on me. So I thought, you know what, we'll live to fight another day. And I wanted to get on to the next thing. So anyway, this is, I think my third MOC, or I'm sorry, my second MOC in the Mandalorian series. I'll be moving on to the third one here very shortly. And I will share something that I'm kind of excited about for my next MOC. And that is this dude right here from Firestar Toys. This is the, of course now I can't think of his name. Werner Herzog is the guy that plays him. but he is, the client, effectively. I think that's what they call him. So he's the client that actually sets up the entire engagement to get him to, begin the process. So anyway, stand by for that. Excited to build that, and hope you enjoyed. Thank you.